I need a nap. Yeah, honestly, me too. Me too, man. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Year after year, more of us are quietly asking the internet, why am I so tired? Searching for answers to something we all feel but don't really understand.
Whoa! Wait, that's actually insane. It's actually an upwards trend.
Every morning we're waking up feeling a little bit more worn out than we were the day before. Our afternoon slumps are a little slumpier, so much so that companies make fun of us for this.
Do you ever notice anything? It's the big corpos making fun of the little guys for falling asleep because they're overworked and that's what they want. They want to squeeze you. They want to squeeze your balls until they can get every ounce of your energy to convert it into money for absolutely no pay. And then you go to your 9 to 5 and then they say, oh, you just need a little pick-me-up. Blah, 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 blah. Johnny, you should come into work earlier. If you don't clock in at the right time, we're going to fire you. And then you're sitting in your bed at night fucking screaming inside of your head, oh my god, my boss is gonna fire me if I'm late, not again, one more time, oh my god, oh shit, oh god, and you can't fall asleep, so you fall asleep at 3 a.m. instead of fucking 12 a.m. Ah!
What's going on? It's a 3 p.m. slump.
Selling us meat or cheese or
meat? The hell's meat gonna do?
Coffee or human-grade jet fuel to somehow cure our afternoon energy deficit. Now listen, this isn't a video where I'm going to tell you to just get more sleep or to stop looking at your phone before bed, which all of those things you should do.
I can absolutely attest to this, by the way. I lived in an efficiency until I moved to this apartment where I had the computer on in the same room as where I slept because I just didn't have space, right? My sleep quality has gone up so much. It's insane how much of a difference it makes.
But I want to approach this question a little differently. I want to look at the bigger reasons why we're all so tired. A lot of those reasons have to do with what's happening right now during the day. Like right now while I'm filming this, things are happening in my brain and your brain that will make us more tired later on today and tomorrow. It'll affect how long and how well you sleep and whether or not you feel refreshed in the morning.
The modern caveman!
In order to understand why you're so tired, I'm going to take you back in time to 300,000 years ago.
The Industrial Revolution was a mistake. Putting humans into a 9 to 5 regiment for working is a mistake, and I think that's a very bad thing, in my opinion. There have been multiple studies of where people taking naps, where in Spain there's a siesta and nobody's working for like about an hour or two and people feel really good. Granted, there's people who also complain that nothing gets done in Spain, but I also think there's like a nice medium that you can have. Yeah. Naps are bad for you, I thought. They're bad because we work a 9 to 5. That's what's bad. I'm sure he'll get into it, but my opinion is that naps are bad because you work a 9 to 5. If you have to wake up at 8 o'clock, but then you don't sleep until 4, but then you only get 4 hours of sleep, you can't nap to make up for it, if that makes sense.
Meet Johnny Caveman. Johnny Caveman kind of has a similar body to ours today. He's a human. His body's a little different.
Yeah.
His hips and his head are shaped a little differently. He's got this wider, flatter nose. He's got this big, strong brow. But up where it counts, his brain is very similar to our brain today. And yet how he uses his brain is very different. Similar brains, totally different worlds. To show this, let me show you Johnny Caveman's morning routine.
Ooh.
As Johnny Caveman begins his day, let's keep an eye on this part of his brain. This is the prefrontal cortex.
I don't have
when you
one
make
of those.
decisions, this part of your brain is doing most of the work. This morning, Johnny Caveman has a few decisions to make. He has to decide where to get his water today. Should he go out and hunt with his group, or should he spend time picking berries? He just found some mushrooms. Are these mushrooms safe? Should he eat them? Johnny Caveman will likely spend a big chunk of his day just sitting here around this campsite, eating and chatting with his band of other humans. He might go out and gather sticks to build a campfire later. I mean, look at his—
We should go back to prehistoric times. This sounds kind of nice, man. Yo, Sunday, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, simpler times, for real.
His brain. There's some decisions being made here, but it isn't pinging very much. There's not a ton of action up here in the prefrontal cortex. His day is routine with not a ton of choices. Fairly simple decisions. Okay, but let's transport forward in time now. I wonder what would happen if we put this same Johnny Caveman in the 20th century.
Oh,
same
no.
brain, same
His brain's gonna explode.
body, different world. Yawn. The sun is still waking Johnny Caveman up, and now he's got a few decisions to make. He decides to shave before he goes to work. What's for breakfast? Apples again? I think I'll have a peach. Now off to work. The world's gone through the Industrial Revolution, so he spends his day at a factory where he's repeating tasks over and over. He's definitely making more decisions than Johnny Caveman was, but the prefrontal cortex isn't pinging a ton. It's not a lot of action up here. Okay, how does Johnny Caveman do in 2024? Did I get enough sleep last night? Where's my phone? Is my kid's concert today or tomorrow? Ugh, I need new socks. These don't match. What should I eat for lunch later? Should I cancel with my coworker? Did I have a burrito yesterday? I need to remember to send the receipts to the insurance company. I need to file that expense report. When am I going to change this fish? How much gas is in the car? Should I get an oil change this week? Why is the internet so slow again? Should I be upgrading to a different machine? Should I be decaf? It's 8:30 in the morning and I've already made a ton of decisions. Way more than
You're stressing yourself out, man. This guy's definitely a millennial. Dude, it's gonna come for everyone, bro. It's gotten so bad in the last 40, years, I think. 40, 50 years? Maybe 60 even? Yeah, overstimulation. Positively, absolutely.
Johnny Caveman or the Johnny from the 20th century. These decisions are complex, they are abstract, they are high stakes. My prefrontal cortex is going bananas. One estimate I read said that modern humans make 35,000 decisions every day. We make more than 200 decisions about food alone. Okay.
Is that why I get overwhelmed by thinking about what I want to eat tonight in the morning? Oh my god, man. Oh god, jeez, man.
I get it. Modern life is full of a lot of decisions, but I'm not running from tigers anymore. I don't have to scavenge and hunt for my food. Shouldn't I be less tired? I'm using my brain instead of my body. And I'm doing way
overwhelmed by cortisol. That's another really, really big that's another really big problem. Cortisol levels are constantly at a high.
way less physical work. I mean, we've got washing machines and dishwashers and automatic head massagers and at-home spas. And damn it, we even have lazy boys. Shouldn't I feel more rested because of all of this? Okay, and here's where we come to the answer to the question, which is we gotta look at that prefrontal cortex again and see what's actually going on when you make all of these decisions. It's a part of a war that is happening between you and the modern world. This war is being fought on two different battlefields, daytime and nighttime.
Dayman, fighter of the night man, champion of the sun.
So we're in this daytime battlefield, and
Can I just preface also with another really fun fact? When you are really, really angry and really, really stressed, the amount, I don't mean stressed oh, I'm stressed over work. I mean stressed someone died or something really bad happened, your dog broke its leg. That chemical that shoots into your brain, the amount of recovery that you have to do afterwards is around about say it was 8 minutes of being really, really fucking angry. That's an hour or two of where you have to sleep. Your brain is gonna eventually have to catch up to you. That's why when I was really, really stressed out about moving and stuff, and I was really angry at the same time, I just wanted to sleep all the time. Yeah, sleep debt. That's exactly right. Yeah.
and you're making a bunch of decisions. We've talked about that. Let's see what's happening here in the brain. When you're making decisions, there's an electronic signal, like a pulse, that is traveling between regions of the brain along these wires called neurons. You've got like almost 100 billion of these things.
I don't have
and
any.
They all
I
are
have like
forming
2.
this giant network, tons of connections. And they all send signals to each other. That is what decisions and actions are. But in order to send these signals between the different parts of the brain, you need a very important chemical called
Energy.
glutamate. Glutamate
Yeah.
makes all of this happen. It's a neurotransmitter. It helps everything talk to each other. But look, after you make the decision, the glutamate kind of sticks around. And as you make more and more decisions, glutamate starts to build up and it starts to clog the system, which new research.
Yeah, so people with brain damage, they get overwhelmed, and I guess other people who have sensory issues, that's what happens, huh? That actually makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Suggests makes decisions harder because the whole system is clogged, which
Yeah.
makes you feel fatigued. Make a bunch of decisions, you feel tired.
Your brain is like a computer chat. When you go to bed, it's like a reset. But when you can't turn off your brain, it's really hard.
Even if you didn't lift a finger.
Well,
It's like as if your brain were a big city. All of these roads are the neurons and synapses that you use to make decisions. It's all functioning nicely, everyone can flow, but the more decisions you make, the more trash you produce. And the trash starts to pile up. Trash collectors will eventually move this trash out, but if you're producing a ton of trash, it starts to pile up, and it eventually starts to block the streets, making it much harder for the cars to move along, meaning for your brain activity to do what it's supposed to do, for you to make decisions. This is what it looks like when you're really tired. It's 11:30 a.m. here at my desk, and I've made so many decisions. I haven't done any strenuous work, but I'm drowning in glutamate and feeling tired.
another really big thing is that when you consume caffeine right after you wake up, that's also a contributing factor to the 3 p.m. slump as well. I read that online and I actually tested it for myself. I don't instantly consume coffee as soon as I wake up. I wake up at around about between 8 and 8:30, and sometimes earlier, but like it really depends. But I don't instantly consume coffee because what happens if you let yourself wake up for about a 30 minutes to an hour, maximum you should probably do like 2 hours, but like I do generally an hour. It helps your brain not get into a slump at about 3 p.m. If you don't drink coffee, like, okay, good on you. But like, I'm just saying, if you're addicted to coffee, it's really, you should really wait. Yeah.
By the way, this is like brand new research from the Paris Brain Institute, and it is still being worked out how this works or exactly what it looks like. You can check my sources to fact check everything I say in this video, but look at this paper specifically. It's pretty interesting. So I'm going to jot this down on my list of why we're so tired. I'll be making this list and the solutions on what we can do about it. A lot of cultures have a solve for this. It's called biphasic sleep, which is just a cool sounding name for a nap in the afternoon. People usually around like the Mediterranean take naps from the hours of like 2 to 5.
Yeah. That was awesome. When my parents went on vacation and we lived on this in the south, we didn't live, but like we stayed there on vacation. And we lived in the south of France. It was too hot to do anything between like 12 and like 3 or 4. And nobody was outside. And you just go, beep, 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 beep. It was awesome.
They rest, they reset. Research found that people who take siestas have increased brain functioning and are 37% less likely to die of heart disease. But here in the United States, we pledge to not sleep on the job. We will never take naps like those failing socialist countries in the Mediterranean. No.
I wouldn't call them socialist. No, I mean, look, I'm going to say it. I think it was really fucking annoying when you really needed something. Look. Hear me out. I lived in Europe. There were places that just didn't have anything open between like 12 and 4. Or it was open, but it's like no one's really doing anything. It was really annoying dealing with that shit, man. It was. I'm not gonna lie. You wanted to like get a fucking bottle of water, you just can't. Like everyone's like not out until like 3 p.m. Sorry.
The hustle never stops here in America. Sorry, I recently watched Top Gun and I'm just feeling really patriotic right now.
That's right. I am dangerous.
So our brains, which
Dangerous.
are the same as Johnny Caveman's brains, aren't totally set up to make all of these decisions without feeling very tired. I mean, it kind of makes sense. We've got these caveman brains living in 2024. This is called evolutionary mismatch. Our brains haven't caught up with our lifestyle, with our world, and all.
Again, I can't say, I'm not a scientist and I can't predict the future. I don't know. Will that change eventually through evolutionary, like, what the hell? Like, evolutionary, what is it called? Yeah, evolution takes like millions of years, man. Hasn't changed in 10,000 years, so yeah, exactly. And we're only at a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of like evolutionary like timelines. It could be accelerated. I don't think like a million years will like that would, even if you tone it down to 2,000 years, it's gonna take still like a long time.
All of the decisions that we are required to make to just be normal modern humans. So what do we do about this? Well,
No, we don't. We don't do anything about it. Go back to napping. What if we take like little naps on stream? Me. I'm kidding, obviously, because it's impossible with like all the time zones, but still.
can take siestas, which is like not something I can do in my life. I'm just not set up for it here. Sorry, guys. But that would be a way to clear out some glutamate and reset. But the biggest takeaway for me is just limit how many decisions I have to make every day, which is not easy, but there definitely are ways to do it. I've started choosing the outfits that I'm going to wear for the week on Sunday, so that in the morning when I wake up, I'm just like, oh, the outfit's already chosen. Or you could go full Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg style and just wear one thing so that you can
That's smart, actually.
have a closet that looks like this. Which, meal planning.
I mean, it's weird, but it works.
That's another one. On a Sunday, we've started like writing down every meal we're gonna have during the week. And that makes life way easier when you're at the end of a day of work and you are feeling tired.
Smart.
A big theme in today's video is information, how much information our brains are met with these days. And even as a journalist, it's my job, and I get stressed out by the amount of information out there. One of the tools we use to sift through all of this is actually the sponsor of today's video. Ground News is a website and an app that takes news stories from all around the world and aggregates them into one place, and then gives you a ton of information about that story and its sources. Instead of an algorithm, you are in control of Ground News. This tool allows you to see what political bias exists in the different articles, how reliable each source is, who owns these different publications, a whole other level of transparency that allows you to feel confident in the news you're reading. One of my favorite parts about Ground News is it helps you keep an eye on your own reading habits. It gives you this dashboard where it shows you some insights, like the top sources that you rely on and how reliable they are. And my favorite of these insights, the blind spot feed. When you're navigating so much information, it's hard to remember that sometimes you are in a very different news bubble than everyone else. The blind spot feed helps you see this by giving you articles that you wouldn't naturally click on or be exposed to, helping you fill in your perspective, challenge your biases. I value this kind of thing so much as a critical thinker and as someone who is worried about echo chambers and bias in today's news landscape. So if you're tired of letting social media companies and sensational headlines decide what you click, Ground News might be for you. It's a great way to sharpen your critical thinking skills and to stay informed while doing it. If you want to try this out, you can get a big discount if you click the link in my description. It's ground.news/JohnnyHarris. You can also use this QR code on screen if that's more convenient. This will allow you to get 40% off the Vantage plan, which is all of these tools I've talked about today. So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring today's video. With that, let's dive back in to why we're so tired. There's one more chemical we have to talk about for this daytime battle, and it's called adenosine. It is this very clever evolutionary feature of our brain that's basically like a signal to our brains that tells us when it's time to rest. As you go throughout your day thinking and doing things, this adenosine builds up, and it kind of signals to your brain that you're tired. It signals that you should feel sleepy. And
let me guess, when you do a bunch of shit, then you feel overwhelmed and it thinks that you should be going to bed. I bet it is!
Hopefully makes you go to sleep. But being industrious humans focused on progress, we found a substance that will block the buildup of adenosine. It's called caffeine. Making caffeine the most popular drug in the world.
Yeah.
It blocks adenosine, this natural signal of you should be tired and sleep, and allows us to keep operating as if the adenosine doesn't exist. But guess what? The caffeine doesn't last forever. It eventually wears out, and all of this adenosine that had built up comes flooding into your brain like a mega
People sometimes forget that caffeine is a drug, bro. It actually is.
phone saying, hey, you're really tired, and we're finally able to tell you. This is called the afternoon crash.
Yep. That's why you motherfuckers are drinking like 2 liters of coffee a day. Yeah.
My solution to this is like the greatest thing in the world, and it's called a coffee nap. When you nap, your body gets rid of the adenosine. It's like the adenosine clearing hour. And if you drink caffeine, then you get this like multiplier effect where all the adenosine is gone and the caffeine just comes in. It doesn't have to block any adenosine, and it's just ready to like hype you up. Drink a quick coffee, lay down for just 15 minutes. It's amazing. Coffee naps. Add it to the list.
It's true. It does work. It does.
The other option is to drink your coffee a little bit like later than you would. Like don't drink it right as you wake up. Drink it between the hours of 9 and 11 a.m. so that it lasts until you're done with work and then you can have your coffee crash. Okay, so that is our daytime battle. Glutamate builds up because we make so many decisions. Adenosine builds up because we don't let it clear out.
How about not drinking caffeine? Yeah, how about you don't do what you want to do? You probably do. You probably smoke, or you like gambling, or you like playing video games. Let people do what they want, man. If it's your body, like, yeah. Me personally, you know what's funny? I was not a caffeine drinker, but I found out that black tea, which is what Russians really like drinking, I found out that black tea has a lot of caffeine in it, and my parents have been feeding me that shit since I was like probably like 6 or 5 years old. And then my parents are like, hey, I wonder if you're addicted to anything. Do you have an addictive personality? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. That's why you have ADHD. That's not how it works! I don't know, but still, I don't know. My parents have been drinking tea since I was a little kid, and yeah. It's my parents' fault. It's not my fault, technically.
We block the signals because of caffeine, and our modern world doesn't like us naturally clearing these things out, so we feel really tired. Now let's get to the nighttime battle. Everyone says we should get 7 or 8 hours of sleep, but when you go to bed and when I go to bed is probably different. Back in the Johnny Caveman days, groups of humans couldn't leave their camp unattended at night. So we evolved to have different sleep times so that some of us could stay awake and guard the camp and others could sleep. And then we could switch off. Today what that looks like is that I go to bed at 10:30 and I wake up at 6:30. You may be a night owl and you want to go to bed at 1 in the morning, or you may want to go to bed at 9 a.m. These are called chronotypes. And
that's what makes me so mad, is that I know that for sure a lot of people in my life have told me, and I've known them, where they just don't want to go to bed. They take longer to wake up. Like me, I'm awake and I'm like, all right, let's go. Like I might be a little bit groggy, but I'm like, okay, let's go do this, do that, walk the dog, blah, blah, blah. And some people, that's perfectly okay, but they get punished by corporate America and companies if they work a 9 to 5 because they fucking have that kind of sleep schedule. Waking up at 6 a.m. is not for them. And I think that's really unfair. And it's not your fault.
there are roughly 4 of them. Everyone has a slightly different interpretation of what it means, but the fact is, we're not all the same when it comes to when we go to bed. And yet, we all live in a society that wants us to be the same. Our standard workday, 9 to 5, was constructed for, like, the average person, but you may not be that person. You have a job that requires...
And you want to know what's funny is that we used to have jobs, or at least a lot of jobs, that were more oriented for, like, people in... you know, night owl standards. Like people who used to knock on people's windows to wake them up because alarm clocks didn't exist, like clocks didn't exist. And now we don't really have that. Well, we do have them, but they're kind of like fewer and far between, and also they don't let you nap.
Requires you to be there at 9 a.m. and you're a night owl who wants to sleep until 10:30? Too bad. Capitalism says no. Researchers say that our chronotype is in our genes. Like, this is like we are naturally coded to have an optimal time when we are sleeping. And that may not work with your life. Evolutionary mismatch once again. So I'm going to write chronotypes down on my list.
I definitely think I'm one of those people that was supposed to wake up at 4 a.m. because my body turns into a furnace between 4 and 5 a.m. and it lasts until I wake up. There's no other reason why I am such a fucking furnace. It's horrible. Farmer in your past life? Yeah, maybe. I don't know why I'm a furnace when I'm between 3 and 4 and 5 a.m. I like taking a little nap at like 12 or 2 o'clock and then I'm good. 4 a.m. is farm time? No, I mean, I don't know. Your metabolism kicking in? I don't get it. I don't like it. I've literally been dead asleep and then I feel my body like an engine. Someone just turns on the engine and I'm just like, I just wake up and I'm laying like on my back and I'm like, I'm fucking hot. Like I can feel like the heat radiating and bouncing off my blanket, man. It's so bad. I hate it. And then falling asleep is kind of a pain. I have to like kind of like get myself cool enough again to fall asleep. That's why I sleep with a really special blanket at night.
What's the solution here? Find out what your chronotype is. You probably already know what it is. Take this test online. I'll give you a QR code here. You can scan this, take a test. Maybe aligning your lifestyle with your chronotype.
What's your chronotype? What's your chronotype? Take the original chronotype quiz. Is this it? What's your chronotype? Oh, it's wolf, bear, dolphin, or lion. Dude, I gotta take this after.
Get sleep during the time when your sleep is most optimal, which will help make you feel.
Can you put the QR code back up? Okay, fine. 1 second.
Here, find out what your chronotype is. You probably already know what it is. Take this test online. I'll give you a QR code here. You can.
Data farming. Yeah, farm these nuts. They already have all my data. I don't really care. I'll take it real quick.
Scan this, take a test. Maybe aligning your lifestyle with your chronotype could help you get sleep during the time when your sleep is most optimal, which will help make you feel less tired. Okay, finally, in a video that you clicked on about why you're so tired, finally we're talking about sleep. Sleep definitely matters. And I think there's actually a lot of great videos and literature, books, whatever, on sleep and how to optimize sleep. Our brains catalog all these memories. All the sensory input and memories from the day get cataloged. Our muscles and our circulatory system, they all get to relax and take a break, which is super vital. And as we talked about earlier, we clear out a lot of like the byproducts from living life, the glutamate, the adenosine, all of the kind of toxins and byproducts.
I have a friend of a friend that has a mom and they have a brain injury and they basically sleep like 4 times a day. They're like 60 plus, granted, but because they have an actual brain injury from like a car accident, they have to sleep all the time and they can't get stressed out because their brain starts to get overwhelmed. It's a thing, like, so the way I look at it and the way they explained it to me, it's like, as you get older, obviously, no, not narcolepsy. I literally just explained it. I said it's a brain injury thing. They don't have energy. Their brain cannot allocate them enough energy to like distribute. So when they get really stressed out, they have to take a nap afterwards. And that's essentially what's happening to our bodies as young people, except we can deal with it way better. Old people already sleep a lot, but I'm saying if you have like a brain injury, which is like where you process and like distribute energy, with the adenosine and all that, that's where you create problems. And it starts like, it starts adding up.
That we accumulate from a day. This is all super important, but not all sleep is created equal. And what we do in the hours leading up to bed can make a big difference. So let's see what this looks like using an example. As we're following along, let's track my chemical levels. I get home around 8 p.m. I whip up some of my famous macaroni and cheese before sitting down to my desk because I've got a little more work to do. Now, my chronotype is the lion, which means I kind of want to go to
The
bed.
lion!
Like I'm getting kind of tired. So I pour myself a cup of coffee to fight off all the adenosine that has been
I never drink coffee past 3 p.m. That's been a life changer for me. I don't really drink caffeine if I can help it.
building up in my brain. Okay, I finish up my work. It's 2 hours past when I normally go to bed, but I need some time to wind down. Here I am making more decisions on Netflix. And look, even though it's nighttime outside, this giant TV screen is emitting light. My brain thinks this is the sun. It thinks it's daytime. So it blocks the release of melatonin. Melatonin is a chemical that we need to shift our brain from wakefulness to sleep. Finally, after some Netflix, I feel like I've wound down and I'm gonna go to bed. It's 2 a.m. I turn off the TV and I get a little bit of melatonin, but not nearly enough to feel tired. I've got a ton of adenosine in my brain.
Yeah, see where the melatonin is not even at the point where the adenosine is like... The adenosine is crashing, dog!
But it's not registering. I should be feeling tired, but all of this adenosine is blocked by the caffeine I had earlier.
Yep.
One more look at my phone to set my alarm. Gotta check Instagram really quick. Eventually the caffeine wears off, the adenosine comes flooding in, and I fall right asleep. But it's now 3 a.m. My body goes through the important process of clearing out all these chemicals. It's a slow process. I need time to do this. My body's making great progress, and then...
No! No! That sound, no! Ah! I'm gonna throw up. I hate that
It's been
noise.
5 hours,
I fucking hate that noise.
which is just not enough time.
Hold on. Which one is my one? It's not that one. It's not that one, but I do relate to that one. Which is my one. Oh my god, Chet, you're about to throw up. You're gonna gag at this. This is my one. I hate this one. Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. When I hear this noise, I think I'm gonna wake up from a dream. I hate that one. Me too, but I still use it because it wakes me up. Bing, bing, ba-ding, bing, bing, ba-ding.
For our bodies to take out all the trash. My brain still kind of looks like this. I'm gonna start my day with all of the residual glutamate chemicals swirling around in my brain as I start to make new decisions and accumulate more glutamate, more adenosine that I'm gonna block with caffeine. So I guess I'm gonna add the obvious one to my list. Get enough sleep.
Don't try not to disrupt your REM. And don't tell me to randomize the songs because I will start to hate every single one. Yeah, don't do that. It's way more deep than that.
Wind down without caffeine or alcohol, the things that kind of kill your ability to get good sleep. Now let me just say there's a lot more to say on sleep. It's very well documented. There's a lot of like pop science books about sleep. I didn't want to go into those now because I feel like they're easily accessible, but you should definitely check out my sources if you want to learn more about preparing for good sleep and having good sleep and why it matters. So this is my list. Here it is, why we're so tired and what we can do about it. It's not exhaustive, but it includes the lesser covered aspects of fatigue that I have found very compelling and that have affected how I approach my day-to-day life. In short, it's not just because we look at our phones before bed that we're so tired. There's a lot more going on.
It's a big contributing factor for sure. It's a massive factor because your brain. So I think they did a study on this for people that sleep with a phone in the same room as their bed. They subconsciously in their dreams start thinking about their phone. I've done it. I swear to God, it's something about like getting anxiety about like getting a call or like a text message or like a Discord message or an email. The 5G hijacks the brainwaves. It does.
And a lot of it has to do with life, modern life,
It does.
and these brains that we have
Hijacks
that
it.
were evolved for a very different time. There's a lot of upside to the fact that we don't live in caves next to campfires hunting for our food. But one of the downsides is that we feel this very specific kind of fatigue. It's often mental fatigue. And now I understand why. I'm not going to dramatically change my life because of these findings, but I now at least have a list of a few things that I can tweak to maybe feel a little less tired.
I'm not gonna lie, I wish I wasn't mentally tired. I wish I was physically tired and not mentally. Because at least if I'm a slug on the floor, I can still talk to people. And like sit in a chair, you know what I'm saying? Oh my god, dude! Sometimes you're so burnt out, you think about launching a game and you're like, I don't want to play a game, I'm too tired. I don't want to play a video game. That's when it's bad, chat. That's a bad one.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I had a question for anyone still watching. Would you be interested in buying some of my old maps? I've got like hundreds of maps that I've created over the years, and I am thinking about opening a map store. I could scan them and sell prints on really nice paper, or I could sell you the originals. Or
I'm good. I don't want it.
Let me know.
It's
what you think.
okay.
This is like an early idea, and I'm just curious. I want to hear from you all. Most people have left by now. And so it's just a few of you. So just like leave a comment if you have heard this and let me know. I also wanted to make sure that everyone knows about our new channel called Search Party. Not so new, it's about a year old now, but it is started by my old colleague Sam Ellis. It is a focus on geopolitics and global sports. It's a fantastic channel, very concise, beautiful videos that I learn a lot from.
Politics
and you should go check it out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
That was good. That was fantastic. I love yapping. Matt, do you like yapping? I like yapping. That was a good video. Thank you for that. That was awesome. Wow.